Hey guys, it's me Pinky. The new shortened 3-faction glory battle will end on Monday's reset. I still didn't see any video talking about the new skills on the bottom here, so I guessed why don't I do this? Let's just dive into the skills. In my mind, some of them are very safe explaining, some of them you need maybe to notice some stuff. We would just talk about this. The first skill is the glorious Howl, which you can only use on enemy cities, and it basically removes 5 random armies. So if you attack an enemy, you click it on the city, then you will remove 5 of the enemy armies, which of course if you do it at the start of the fight, where often like 300 defenders are stacked in a building, it's very random. Like you won't have any use from this, and well, all the skills have a cooldown of 12 hours. I wouldn't really use this at the start of the fight, but let's say you're able to swipe all the enemies out. And we all know that for all factions, there are always like 2 or 3 key players that make a difference in the fight, like the biggest whales. And if you have, for example, a smaller one streaking for the enemy, and then the biggest whale arrives and before the smaller one gets kicked, and it's just those 2 or 3 people inside, and you kill glorious Howl, then the enemy, like biggest fighter, has to march again. And if you then think about, well, I'm not in offensive right now, but still here you march like 13-14 minutes to make this fight. From city, from the fortress, you still march 7:30, and then let's say in offense you march 5 minutes, and then you can kinda force your enemy to march 5 minutes again and to use their resources again. Like if you see right now we have 60 million supplies in the fortress, and my march would take 8.5 million. It's only T4, not T5, so you will see you can't really use a lot of the marches from Fortress. This is because it's only 7 days. We got the large merchant just today. We need to trade a bit, like to stock this up still. Removing an enemy in a key moment can of course be big. Then we have the Glorious Blessing, which you can only use if you are defending. Basically what this does is it freezes the fight in its current state. If no enemy is there right now, and they have, let's say, the building to 50%, and you have 50 people in, which is 900 points per second, and you click this, no matter who of the enemy arrives, they will not kick your people. They will start stacking on their side, and your points won't change. So you will have 5 minutes, like decreasing the enemy points with 900 points again. But what we had when we used this the first time was basically the enemy had like 200 marches inside, and when all whale arrived at the city, someone clicked the Glorious Blessing to pause the battle. So what happened was the enemy had like 2k points per second and got them for 5 minutes, which is actually a lot. Which is the reason I think why our faction just uses this skill on cooldown, because our communication isn't very good, and a lot more people are doing way more damage with this than good, so we just decided to take it out. But in theory, especially if the enemy has stacked up some points already, and you are able to swipe them all out and stack up a few spam marches on your side and click this for 5 minutes, and you are able to make even like 500-600 points per sec. For 5 minutes you can decrease the points of them again, and they need to take this back. Of course, on a like key building, like imagine the Glory City, which will take like 2-3 minutes longer than we checked here, and we don't have a lot of resources in the fortress, and then being able to like pause the fight in a key moment can of course like keep you the building. But if you do it in the wrong moment, then you're giving a big advantage to the enemy. Then we have the glorious Bestowal, I think, which is the most boring one, kinda, because you will just speed up all troops for 10 minutes by 10%, especially for all the first races. I think this is very, very strong. You put a lot of Owls into offense, you use your double time march items, you press this and the enemy doesn't, for example, then you will be able to stack your troops in this fortress a lot faster, like we did. And then of course you can declare those buildings, the military ones here, a lot faster than the enemy. You kind of win these reset races, but also outside of the reset races, let's say in 40 minutes we have a fight. I think it's very useful to use this just so we are able to go here faster than the enemy can. And of course, we have 2 enemies. I guess they will also use this to be faster, because also remember your speed lets you arrive at the enemy building faster, take less seconds to arrive at the building, so you will lose less resilience, so you actually arrive faster and stronger. And then the last skill is the glorious baptism, which just reduces your loss of resilience by 10%, which is huge for your whales. But in order to do this correctly, you need to have in mind that this skill needs to be activated when you send, not when you arrive, because your stats are getting locked when you send. Why is this so big? It's pretty simple. Normally you lose 12 resilience for every fight where one of your troops are getting killed. Now you can use the battle hardened skills, which give you 25% here, which is 25%, of course, and then we have another down here, which is 25% again. So combined, you save up 50% of your resilience loss. Then you can use the item from the shop, which gives you another 30%. So you only lose 20% of your resilience that you would lose normally. Instead of 12, it's like 2.4, I would say. No clue how the game does really use that, if it remembers the 0.4 in the background, or if it rounds up or down. Not exactly sure on this. But if you then lose the baptism, you lose only 10% of your normal resilience loss, which is 1.2 resilience per fight you win, which makes whales extremely hard to kick if you have no whale on your own side. It's very simple. Normally at some point the resilience starts dropping and the troops then starts shrinking faster and faster. But if they arrive with 115 resilience and only lose 1 per fight where they actually lose a troop, and a lot of spam marches are not even killing a troop. Think about Thalma or Danny, which will wipe a lot of enemies before the enemy can even hit you. Then you will need 15 real armies to even arrive 100 of very strong people. Yeah, with this you actually need to kill someone and not reduce his resilience far enough so you can kill him. I hope that makes sense. And since the video isn't long enough, and I always read the question what this skill does, the violent destruction, in the end of the offense tree, let's quickly talk about this, because durability destroyed by battle, it's pretty simple once you know it. You unlock it, and then what this basically does is you take down the city defense, which is 150k here, and if you hover over it, every 1000 city defense provides you 1% total attack and 1% total health. You can increase this by producing on the building. And the way to decrease it is to have people in offense that win fights. Every time you win a fight, this goes down. If you are cleaning out the building versus the NPC defenders, for example, you want to have someone that has the skill unlocked. So when you meet the real people, they have 150% less stats. And of course, also with the spam marches, etc. But you don't need everyone to have this unlocked. Actually, there are 2-3 people in your faction that are enough to take this down pretty fast. But for the fighting start, this is actually 150% on 2 stats. Why not take it? I hope this did help, and well, bye bye.